Oh, lad, what a face.
Well, see, it's a long...
Ah, not a word. Thy mien speaketh clearer than thy tongue doth. Doeth, I
Yeah.
mean. You're hungry?
Nah, I ain't in the mood to...
Well, I am, and I can't play a song when my stomach's growling. A gazelle.
A gazelle, yes, that's a word. Just go with it. Roll
Let's
with
get
it.
let's get some fried leaves. Fried leaves.
Mmm, delicious for herbivores. Sorry, Bard, I ain't got time for any of that. I gotta go look for Ana. She just ran away angry as all get out, and I know darn well that if I don't go check up on her, no one's gonna...
And I thought my songs were monothematic.
Yes, that word. That's a word.
Yes, I
That's
know
a
it's a
word.
word. It's just that I had to make sure I was saying it right.
Geoff picked the strings of his oud one by one, deep in thought, while Ader just paced around. Or rock around,
Yeah,
in his
he was
case.
rocking. He was rocking to the beat. I know just the place to look.
Back in the slums you go. Geoff expertly snuck through the crowds, moving with such ease that he seemed to be little more than a shadow. Ader did his best to keep up with him, though that was hardly an easy task when he was one head taller than most other deer. The place Geoff was looking for wasn't in the plaza itself surrounded by stalls and all their merchandise, but rather on one of the many alleys that led to the bazaar.
Whoa!
People! Oh no! Shadow people! Slightly better than fog people from Katawa Shoujo.
Well, yeah.
The crowd there was bustling with life as well, but not quite in the same manner. They were all rowdy deer, pushing and cheering. A Karmer alley. Wait, oh, I can click on it!
Oh wow.
Ooh!
Oh, okay, so there's a glossary essentially.
I did not know I could click on them actually, but yes, this is a very organic and natural way to introduce information in a visual novel. I like it. Butting heads. That's nice to know. That's definitely nice to know. Karnmei alleys were very different from the official sort. While killing was still very much frowned upon, there was no chivalry, no one set of rules. There was no way of knowing if the horns you were being gored with were hygienic. There were punches and kicks and all sorts of cheats. It was chaos! And for that, and several other reasons, Ana was a huge fan of unofficial Karnmei. Sadly, as much as Ader jumped and pushed and yelled, she wasn't anywhere to be found.
Alas, your fair maiden is in another alley. Oh my
Ah
gosh!
ha 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 ha! Ah ha ha ha! Spoiler alert, Geoff is a basic binge.
I can imagine.
Ader cast a long glaze over the improvised battlegrounds, attempting to find her one last time. That's too bad, Ain't kicked some serious ass here. No offense to Mr. Ass over there.
I'm an ass man.
No, I mean the donkey.
Good thing she's not allowed to fight.
Yeah, ain't no way they're gonna let her do.
A golem, Ader.
Geoff cast a very serious look in his direction. This wasn't the first time that they had this discussion, and it wouldn't be the last. How many times do I gotta tell ya? Aina is not a golem, okay? She's a doe. It's just she's all... Let me see what a golem is in this universe. It's like any other golem. The regular kind of golem.
So in other words, they're basically just equating her to an automaton.
In Jewish tradition, the golem would be a protector brought to life to serve and protect, specifically the community. Anyway, so there is a 1910 film about a golem. Go watch that. She's a doe. It's just she should a bit of a weirdo.
What, you porky pig all of a sudden? Weirdo, right? Tell me, Ader, dearest, how many albino can you name off the top of your head that can lift your heavy butt with just one hand?
Well, there's my mom. Aina! Now, let's go. We gotta find her.
Well, I gotta like how simple-minded he is. Why do I even bother? Look at her. Golem or not, she's just a little cabbage head hiding in the crowds of this enormous city. She's damn good at hiding. And do you know why people hide?
'Cause they don't wanna be found. Ding ding ding! Geoff extended his arms towards him in a dramatic manner, remarking how correct he was.
You're not gonna find her. So why don't you go and use your thick skull for something useful, like bringing us money so we can have dinner for once?
Geoff pointed at the ring with his horns, and Ader knew better than to insist. With a heavy sigh, Ader nodded and began walking towards the ringmaster.
Ah, wait, there's just one more thing. Your bag of coins, you wouldn't want to lose what little we have to the hands of, let's say, some ill-intentioned crook now, would you?
Better the evil you know, right? That's the spirit. Geoff extended his hand a bit too keenly, waiting for Ader to find the purse he usually hid within his sash.
Uh-oh.
But, uh-oh, indeed. Whoa, Bard! You're really gonna bust a cat laughing?
Don't tell me you lost it. I think she took it.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Oh, brother.
Oh dear.
Geoff's scrawny body trembled like a branch about to snap off. Just
go.
Alright, see that sweaty blockhead
see that sweaty blockhead
oh,
over there? With the glistening fur and the charming smile? That's your foe. I'll go place my bet now. Are you feeling like a winner, ladder? Ladder?
Because he stole.
Yes, I know, but still, it's still a name.
It's a stretch of a nickname, I know. Charming? Hold up right there! You mean the buck with them sharpened horns? Ah, darn, Bard, your confidence in this poorly put together row is much appreciated, but as much as it hurts me, and it does, I think I'd rather go to bed hungry today.
What?
What? What if he hits me in the face? That's my bread and butter, man! I don't want to go from Ader the one-eyed to Ader the no-eyed. Now you listen here, punk!
Then do enlighten me, my boy, on how in the name of the Hatzah do you pretend to become a knight if you can't handle even a rack pointed at you? Well, you just kind of just take it one in each hand and pull?
Also, Ader, my boy!
My boy! No wonder you can't even catch a hint. Yellow piece of mother's...
Mangy venison.
Mangy venison.
So, Geoff has been hitting on him this entire time. In case it wasn't obvious.
Yeah, I think I see. Sorry about that.
What are you mumbling there, Geoff?
I said I'm going to walk you through this, so... Oh, help me. Free if you mess up.
Hey, who let the dog in? Who? Who let the dog in? Who let the doors in? Who let the doors in? Who let the doors in? Who? Oh my god. And a girl, yeah, sure eat your veggies, but those sticks on your forehead aren't gonna fool anyone, haha! I'm so funny! And drunk.
If he's serious, this is gonna be easier than I thought.
This is not the version when I get a battle system to work either, so we're going to play pretend together. And make like you won. Yay! Yay,
Thanks,
we
Sandra.
won!
Thanks, Sandra!
Thank you, Sandra. We won! Yay! That was easy.
That was... I mean, we worked really hard on that fight.
Woo! I can't believe it! Still alive and kicking. Aha! Come on! Show me the money, Bard! I want to bite every single coin. Uh-oh.
I completely forgot to place the bet. Oh no.
Take cover! He's about to blow! Geoff covered his face with his hands, making some sort of unintelligible noise that can only be described as the very sound of anger. Hey, big hat, I want to learn some tips too. I'll buy you dinner. Hey now, sir, you really think you're gonna steal my manager away so... Geoff shut Ader's mouth with one hand.
My dear boy, you should give it all today. So why don't you go and enjoy what's left of the fair? I have a gig in the tavern. Later. Money, yes. Don't expect me tonight.
With that, Geoff hurriedly shooed a very confused Ader away. What would be the in-universe term for homosexuals?
Get-togethers, I guess?
No, you see, there is an in-universe term for those bucks who are into gazelles, which is horn eater. It's a terrible slur when you think about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know much about this, so...
I'm thinking about it because, you know, you had that beautiful term in the My Little Pony fandom called Filly Fooler.
Oh, right, that one.
Something along those lines. Without any friends or anything even remotely similar to hang out with, Ader dragged his feet around the bazaar. He had missed most of the events, and after the fight he was acutely aware of just how empty his stomach was. Ader considered that his best bet was merely walking around until he got tired and then heading home to sleep the anger off until Aina bought him some food the next day. And by food, the narrator really means raw potatoes.
Well, potatoes grow a lot, so it's the best kind of food, I guess.
Still dirty raw potatoes. That is, if Aina was coming back of her own volition, then again, he'd never seen her miss a single day of work.
There's a first time for everything.
He wandered all over the plaza, unsure of where he was headed. And somehow, he'd ended up in a place that looked all too fancy for a poor buck like him. Then again, maybe it wasn't as fancy as it looked. It didn't look like the dolls around could afford many clothes. Ader, you are a moron! You are an absolute tool, and I love you.
Oh dear.
Before the gears in his mind could add one and one, a small flickering light coming from a small tent nearby stopped Ader's train of thought. Distracted from his previous concerns about the ladies, he kept his eyes fixed on the flame in the dark. It felt it was directed at him somehow. Though we can't discard that being related to being too hungry to think, of course. With nowhere better to go and nothing better to do, Ader followed the plot, followed his intuition, and headed straight into the tent. He will emerge from that tent gay.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Straight. Not at all.
I get it.
Not at all, but I thought, said straight, and then I'm funny, damn you! Woke culture killed comedy! Dusk was still a ways off, but it may have as well been midnight inside the tent. Ader combed the darkness desperately, startled by the sudden change in illumination. Bandits, assassins, mongrels, his imagination conjured a million evildoers ready to make him part with his precious cape, for that was all he had on him.
Bright light.
An orange blur shone in a corner of Ader's sight. Its flare grew with unmeasured force, blinding him for a moment. He struggled to regain his vision, fearing those foes that only lived in his mind. Okay. Bathing in the light of an orb was what filled with fire, shaded in ways that made no sense whatsoever. Awaited a feminine silhouette. A very feminine silhouette. A very on-the-nose silhouette.
Yes.
And there she is.
Took you long enough.
As if. Of course it was her. God's night a-livin'!
God's not living.
And all of a sudden, Ader wished he'd found a bandit instead. At least he would have known where to look then! He tried to fix his gaze on her eyes, shining above a thin pink veil that covered most of her face, but that was in vain. The sequins that hung from her neck reflected the light all over the room, dragging Ader's attention right back to them, and the scarf that covered the bare minimum.
She's well covered, though.
I have 1,000 words to call the woman in front of him, and none of them are good, so let's just say that what she was wearing would be inappropriate now, let alone then.
I would laugh if the joke was. So I'm just gonna add a bit more clothing to the story. Don't just stand there. Take a seat.
I don't know, I've been sitting on my tail all day and got places to go and don't usually share tents with ladies and... Judging by her glare, she wasn't going to take no for an answer. Just sit already!
Well, if you
insist!
Even the choice boxes are like...
Yep.
Just get over it.
You're going to sit there, and you're going to like it. See? It's a beautiful stool of the finest wood, and you will appreciate it. What am I saying? It'd be mighty ugly of me to reject an invitation, even though you invited yourself. Ader did as asked and sat down on one of the many pillows laying around. Ooh, this pillow is mighty fine. I give it a 5 out of 5. Pretending to be crazy, escaping, begging the gods for mercy, breaking down and claiming that he wasn't in fact a horn heater, that this was just a mistake and he shouldn't be there. Let's see what a horn heater is. Slur used to refer to a male deer who shows interest in another male deer, a male or female gazelle, since they're both horned. I thought the stigma, even without knowing what that meant, I thought the stigma entailed a slur. Male deer have horns, female deer do not.
Yeah.
So for a female to have horns, there is that whole misogynistic and transphobic aspect attached to it. That's culturally ingrained within society. While not illegal in any way, they face heavy social stigma. Roebucks have a fame for being interested in gazelles, so they are particularly vocal on their dislike for horn heaters. I don't think the gazelle is transgender, but she's pretty much put in the same category of despised demographic, because she does not reflect the default idea of femininity, because of the horns, you see. That's within deer culture. All of that in spite of her being probably one of the hottest females around.
Well, yeah.
So yes, there is that old minefield. Ader's mind was bustling with ways of getting out of that situation. So of course, whenever his mind was busy, his mouth was free to speak as it pleased. Hi. He spoke with a voice more akin to that of a fawn whose antlers are just beginning to sprout than that of a fully grown deer. I'm Ader! Nice place!
Let's just be polite and say our name.
I'm Hayseed, the son of Garethaz, the buck who farms the highest hill in my village, Ravinalos. So here and there, and just about everywhere, folks know me as Ader of the Upperfield. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Achievement for the introduction.
That's nice.
She said condescendingly. Ain't it? It better because it's a lie, ma'am. They call me Longneck Shorthorns, or Ader Shovelhands, or sometimes even Ader Shoeface.
Shoeface?
A mocking chuckle stabbed Ader's heart, feeling even more self-conscious than he thought he was capable of. He held onto his hooves and fixed his gaze on the ground, screaming inside as his face burnt.
So it wasn't the contusion after all, huh? You just like that.
Like what now?
Funny.
Funny? Me? Not one bit, ma'am. I'm gritty, and I am dark and gritty like damn reboots. I ain't got a funny bone in my body. Dachnach. Ain't never seen worse jokes than other scenes. Hold up. Didn't that sound like a poem just now? A haiku? Fancy haiku? Well, darn, a poem ain't nothing but a dull song. Mr. Bard always says so. I did to bore a fine lady such as yourself, so I'd better get.
Bore me? Please. With hands like those, you wouldn't look out of place in a traveling circus. Or in some lord's court, if you're any good at juggling.
I could do things with those hands you bucks wouldn't believe.
In fact, I know a certain gazelle in dire need of entertainment. What do you say? One word from Joseph, and you'll be working in a palace tonight.
Ader couldn't quite figure out if that was meant to be an insult or a compliment, but he was quick to decide that it was better to work for someone that talked about herself in third person. I think I'm gonna pass for now, but I'll holler at ya next time if I'm fresh out of pride, ma'am. A deep silence filled the tent. Ader cursed his luck and his good manners. He wanted to run away and hide, fearing that otherwise he'd commit a big mistake, the kind of mistake that would get him called a horny heater for the rest of his life.
I mean, I don't see a problem.
Well then, it was sure nice to see you again, but...
Would you like to know your fortune?
Ooh! Ader turned on his heel, desperate to find out if her offer was indeed true. There was nothing that betrayed a lie in her words, nor in her eyes.
I did wonder if that was a crystal ball in the scene.
It's a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Whoa! You're one of those gazelle fortune tellers? For real? Who are you, Ryuji? For real? Let's just say they looked rather different back in Ader's town. Well, slap my head and call me silly, okay. I got you pegged all wrong, ma'am. Damn right, I'd love to hear hold up. I lost my bag of coins. I ain't got a single doru on me, so... Something flew into the ground right beside Ader's foot.
And so it's his pouch of coins!
My bag!
You dropped it right after you crashed the first time. I meant to give it back, but since you were so bent on running through that wall... Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I didn't steal it from it, did ya? What, from the wall?
The wall stole it! Steal what? It's just filled with rivets.
Ah, that means ya opened it!
So much for wanting to see you again. That was all. You can go now if you want.
Oh no, a faux pas! Quick, roll for persuasion! A punch to the gut would have hurt Ader infinitely less than her words. What am I doing, he thought to himself, biting the inside of his cheek. No mere thief would have returned his bag. Sad as that was, no other person had ever gone so far for him. And so he sat down once more, looking at the finely yet scarcely dressed woman in front of him with a mix of embarrassment, naivete, and just plain fear.
Inner screaming.
Well, Ader, you're about to discover something about yourself. Embrace it. I don't suppose you accept rivets as payments.
That would depend on what you're paying for.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more.
Boop, boop.
Getting my fortune told?
Just keep them.
Jasif rested her arms over the crystal orb, leaning closer to Ader. Alright, can you look into the crystal ball thing and tell me how are my ma and my pa doing? Did any of my little bros get married yet?
That's cute. But it's a reading glass, not a magic mirror.
Right, right. How about the weather? Can you give me good harvests?
Take your prayers to the temple.
Well, darn, that won't do either. Alrighty then, how about me? What you see in this bag's future?
Your future? Why would you want to know anything about that? Life would be boring if you knew what awaits around every corner.
Ma'am, are you a fraud?
I'll read your past and justify your present.
But I already know those things.
I don't.
Ha! Busted! I knew you were a fraud! You fell into my trap! Ha!
You fell into my trap card!
Her blue eyes spoke like an insinuating whisper. Her fingers walked over the cobblestone ground, headed towards Ader's own ends, as her face got ever so close.
For example, we could talk about why you did what you did for me, then, and figure out what I could do to return the favor. Now...
I just love that flustered face, by the way.
Yeah, I do as well. I really love...
The bells that hung from her sash rang as they hit the ground, reminding him once more of her less than modest clothing. But no, she was no doe. You can only date doe in dear society. We all know that. Don't break taboos. I gotta insist, Mom, to you definitely got the wrong book. But even if I ever did anything nice for you in my life, a simple thanks is more than enough payment.
I guess you could use a reminder too.
Pouty face Mackenzie. The soothsayer made no attempt to conceal her disappointment, much like no one ever made any attempt to explain to her what coming on too strong means. With apparent tedium, she grabbed the crystal orb and put it between her face, right, and Ader's. This time, it was personal. I mean, she had no more pretensions than merely watching him. Oh well, the crystal ball suddenly grew 3 sizes.
Oh fire, tell me the secrets in thee.
Will a song of ice and fire ever be written to its fullest?
Yada yada yada, stuff in the basket. I don't feel like switching languages now.
Her complete lack of professionalism made Ader feel for once at ease. After all, what would he do if he was indeed in front of a Sephi, one of those heinous Baram wizards from back in time? Cry, beg, try to escape, have sex with her, I mean...
Cry, beg.
Wait. Those were things he'd already thought of doing. Including having sex with her.
And while crying and begging.
As Ader was considering the subtle differences in the fears he felt when talking to a girl and imagining being burnt to a crisp by a witch, she watched him. She was eating popcorn. And she kept watching.
I think this is getting too personal.
And then she watched some more. He's better than television, apparently. But something seemed off. The gazelle shifted her eyes and squinted, lifted her head from behind the glass a few times, and finally settled on fixing her gaze on the fire again. But she seemed to be struggling.
I think she has an issue.
Everybody has an issue here. She pressed her mouth to one side, wiggled her nose, and knit her eyebrows closer and closer as she focused on the orb, until Ader could no longer hold his laughter back.
Shush! It's easy with two. Two what?
Twice. She mumbled the last part to herself, but Ader was sure that she'd said ice. Oh, what's that? Ya ain't never done it with a one-eyed deer before?
I think he just...
Ader pressed his lips together like he wanted to make them disappear. Jasif merely rose an eyebrow. Oh, Ader!
He walked into that one.
Pretty much, he waltzed straight into it. His accidental innuendo made him begin shaking from horns to hooves once more.
Ah, screw this!
You! Me! In bed! Now!
You! Me! Bed! Now!
Oh, I like the detail. The crystal
The orb.
ball falling on the side, which you could not see it because it's covered up by the text.
Yeah.
She pushed the orb away with an exasperated sigh. Before Ader knew what was going on, his face was in her hands, and her face right in front of his.
I need to find out if it was you after all. Stay still.
A drum beat in his ears. That was Ader's heartbeat as she stared at him so intently. There was a lump in his throat. He did his best not to tremble. His eye began feeling heavy, though he tried to hold her gaze.
In the nightlight, do you see what you dream? All your troubles